If you're planning to move to Langley before your kids head back to school, timing is everything. Between finding the right neighborhood, understanding school catchments, and coordinating the home buying process, there's a lot to think about, and a few common mistakes can create unnecessary stress or even affect your child's eligibility to attend certain schools. I'm Jamie Lieb, a former teacher turned Langley realtor, and helping families connect schools, neighborhoods, and homes is one of my favorite parts of what I do. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the timeline I'd recommend if you're hoping to be settled before the first day of school. Whether you're moving from another city or relocating within Langley, these are the 7 things I think every family should know before making the move. This is probably the biggest mistake I see families make. They find the perfect house and then only afterwards start asking, wait, what school does my kid go to? Before you start touring homes, narrow down the areas that meet your family's needs. Think about school catchments and choice programs like French immersion or fine arts. Think about your commute and the neighborhood you want your children to grow up in. One thing that surprises a lot of families moving to Langley is that not all neighborhoods follow the same school structure. For example, Walnut Grove follows the more traditional kindergarten to grade 7 elementary and grade 8 to 12 secondary model. Willoughby is different. Most elementary schools are kindergarten to grade 5, followed by middle school for grades 6 to 8, and then RE Mountain Secondary for grades 9 to 12. With Willoughby continuing to grow, a brand new middle school and secondary school are expected to open in 2027, which will also bring changes to catchment boundaries. Most other Langley communities, including Fort Langley, Murrayville, Brookswood, Aldergrove, and much of Langley City, generally follow the traditional kindergarten to grade 7 elementary and grade 8 to 12 secondary model. The takeaway is this: don't assume every neighborhood works the same way. Understanding how schools are organized before you start house hunting can save you a lot of stress later on. As a former teacher, I can say that every school has its own strength, culture, and community. It's less about finding the best school and more about finding the best fit for your child and your family's lifestyle. The second mistake is waiting too long to start the process. If your goal is to be moved and settled in before school starts, ideally, you want to begin planning in July. In July, start by getting pre-approved so you clearly understand your budget. This is also the time to research Langley neighborhoods, review school catchments, and meet with your realtor to build a realistic plan. By early August, you ideally want to be actively touring homes, writing offers, and completing important due diligence such as financing, inspections, and reviewing property documents. By mid-August, the goal would be to remove your subjects and begin preparing for moving day. This is when you can confirm movers, organize utilities, start packing, and work through the final legal steps. Then, by late August, you're ideally moving into the home and getting familiar with your new community. Explore the route to school, visit nearby parks and amenities, complete school registration if needed, and give your child some time to adjust before the first day. And of course, every transaction and family timeline will vary and be a little different. The main point is that buying a home, moving, preparing for a new school year, they all take time. Starting early gives you more options, and it helps prevent the entire process from feeling and becoming this stressful last-minute rush. One of the biggest things I encourage families to think about isn't just the house itself. It's what daily life will actually look like once boxes are unpacked and once the dust settles. Can your kids safely walk or bike to school? Is there a nearby park they'll actually use? How far is a recreation center? Where will you grab coffee after drop-off? And what will your daily commute or after-school routine actually feel like? A house might check off every box on paper, but if the location makes your everyday life more difficult, that can become frustrating very quickly. Sometimes the neighborhood you choose ends up having a much bigger impact on your family's happiness than the house itself. So before you focus only on square footage, finishes, or the size of the backyard, try to picture a normal weekday. That's often where the right fit becomes much clearer. As a former teacher, I saw firsthand how quickly the before and after school childcare can become a challenge for working families. Spaces can be limited and waitlists can sometimes be extremely long, and not every school has the same childcare options nearby. If both parents work, don't wait until after you've moved to start thinking about this. Find out what care is available at or near the school, what the drop-off and pickup times are, and whether the schedule actually works with your commute. It's also worth having a backup plan. That might mean help from family, a nearby daycare, a trusted neighbor, or adjusting work schedules during the first few weeks. So the goal is to make sure your daily routine works just as well as your new home does. A home can look like a great fit on paper, but if school pickup is a stressful thing every single day, this can affect the whole family. Every Langley neighborhood has its own personality, and that can affect your family's day-to-day experience just as much as the home itself. Walnut Grove feels established and family-oriented, with mature trees, a strong sports culture, and communities where families stay long-term. Willoughby has a newer, faster-growing feel with newer developments, more walkable amenities in certain pockets, and many young families moving into the area. Fort Langley offers a historic village atmosphere, boutique shops, trails, and a strong sense of local community. Brookswood is known for larger lots, quieter streets, and easier access to nature, which can appeal to families looking for more space and a less urban feel. Murrayville is another established community with convenient amenities and a slightly slower, more residential pace. Aldergrove can offer a more attainable entry point for some buyers, along with a growing community and convenient highway access. None of these areas are better than the others. The right choice depends on your budget, commute, preferred housing style, school needs, and the kind of daily routine you want for your family. That's why I've been creating neighborhood tours here on this channel, so that you can get a sense and a feel for each community, how it looks and how it functions before you even book a showing. I currently have neighborhood guides to Walnut Grove and Willoughby, with other Langley neighborhoods coming up. One of the biggest misconceptions I hear is once you have an accepted offer, the keys are practically in your hands. When in reality, there is a whole process that unfolds between finding the right home and actually moving in. And it's easy to underestimate how much that happens in between. Let me walk you through what that timeline typically looks like. Step 1, offer accepted. When you have an accepted offer, you and the seller have agreed on the price and terms. But in most cases, the home isn't officially sold just yet. If you've included subjects or conditions in your offer, you'll now begin working through those. Step 2, subject period. This is your due diligence period and one of the most important parts of the buying process. Depending on your offer, this may include finalizing your mortgage financing, completing a home inspection, reviewing strata documents if you're buying a condo or townhouse, arranging insurance, or completing any other conditions you've included in your contract. Think of this as your opportunity to make sure you're comfortable moving forward with the purchase. Step 3, firm deal. Once you're satisfied with everything and all of your conditions have been met, you'll remove your subjects. This is a big milestone because your purchase is now firm and binding. At this stage, your deposit is typically submitted if it hasn't already been, and you start getting excited because you're officially on your way to owning your new home. Step 4, lawyer or notary. A little closer to completion, you'll meet with your lawyer or notary. They'll prepare all of the legal documents, arrange for your mortgage funds, explain everything you'll be signing, and make sure the title transfers correctly into your name. Step 5, completion day. Completion day is when the purchase officially closes. Your lawyer or notary transfers the funds, the property title is registered in your name, and you legally become the new owner. Completion and possession are usually scheduled on different days to allow enough time for the lawyers, notaries, lenders, and the land title office to complete and confirm the transfer. It also gives the sellers time to finish moving out and leave the home clean and ready for you before the keys are released on possession day. Step 6, possession day. Possession day is when you receive the keys and can officially enter your new home. For most buyers, this is also the move-in day. The movers arrive, the boxes come in, and the house starts to feel like yours. If you're moving before school starts, take a few days to explore the neighborhood together. Walk walk or bike the route to school, visit the local park, stop by the community center, and help your kids become familiar with their new surroundings. Even finding a favorite coffee shop or playground can help everyone feel settled much faster. Understanding this timeline helps you set realistic expectations and can help reduce so much unnecessary stress. Instead of feeling rushed, you'll know what's coming next, and you can plan around important dates like school registration, possession date, and the first day of class. The final mistake is focusing so much on the house that you forget about what the move is really about. Of course, the house matters. You want enough space, a layout that works, a yard you can enjoy, and a property that fits your budget. All of that matters. But once the excitement over the new kitchen or the extra bedroom wears off, it's the everyday experience of living there that will shape how your family feels. It's about choosing the community where your kids will make friends, the park where they might learn to ride a bike, the school they'll walk into on their first day, and the neighbors who may become part of your support system. It's also about the routines that will become part of your week. How long will the school drop-off take? Can your kids walk to a friend's house? Is there somewhere nearby to play after dinner? Do you feel comfortable walking through the neighborhood in the evening? Can your family picture spending weekends there? These details may seem small when you're comparing square footage, finishes, and list prices, but they can have a much bigger impact on your quality of life over time. A beautiful home in a location that makes every day more difficult may not feel like the right home for very long. On the other hand, a house that isn't absolutely perfect may become the perfect fit because the community around it. So when you're viewing a property, try to look beyond the walls. Drive through the neighborhood at different times of the day, visit the local park, test the commute, walk the route to school, pay attention to how the area feels and whether you can imagine your family building a life there. At the end of the day, you're not just buying a house. You're buying a place for your family to live, to grow, learn, and to create memories. The house is important, but you can always update a kitchen, add a fence, finish the basement. What you can't change is a location. So it has to fit your family's need from the start. It's everything around the home that will shape your family's everyday life. Hopefully this video helped you feel maybe a little less overwhelmed and gave you a clear picture of what to expect before school starts. If you'd like a copy of my Langley family moving timeline and checklist, comment plan below and I'll be happy to send that over to you. And if you're planning a move to Langley and you want to chat about schools or neighborhoods or need help finding the right home for your family, I've included a link in the description below so you can book a time with me. I'd love to help and make this process a little easier for you. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching till the end. And until next time, I'm Jamie Lee with the Murphy Real Estate Group and Stonehouse Realty, here to help families discover where to live, learn, and grow.